What's up? How's everybody? Do it. Excuse me, let's start over. I moved into the camera. My fault. Let's start over here. Light green hat.
We're not.
Tell everybody who you are. What's up? We are live.
I'm trying to find it live. Hey, what's up, everybody? My name is Brent. Awesome to be part of the UnleashU fam, to be here tonight for the podcast. And I'm a part of our social media. I'm a part of the team.
Spencer, jump in here, bro.
Pull the chair.
Love getting to the team.
The chair. No.
I'm going to stop talking now.
Pull the chair right here. What's happening? Pull the chair.
Has everybody talked? It's nice to meet you. David, I forgot my name for a minute. Nice to see you, buddy. Nice to see you, man. Nice to see you, sir. Nice to see you, brother. Excuse me.
You're right.
Sorry, you're right. Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you, bro. All right. Yeah. Pressure. I gotta say
it's no pressure.
No pressure. Tuesday. Hey, David, introduce yourself.
I can see a slide.
Okay, so name's David Bradley from Denver, Colorado. Wow, way to go. Thank you.
My name is Javier. From Delaware. Here to be with the family. What's up, everybody?
Hi, everyone. My name is Margaret. I'm the director of events with UnleashU Now, and I am also in Delaware.
You know what I'm going you.
I'm awesome.
I'm going Spencer. Nice to meet you, brother. What's up? Good to see you, sir. Look over to the table with you. I'm Spencer Fothergill from Delaware. Love being a human. Glad to be here with these folks. Yeah.
Let's go. What's up? I don't know if you know me or not. My favorite here. The guy that they let sit in the show. I'm looking at the wrong camera. The guy that lets sit here with some cameras and mics. I don't know what they're talking to, what not to. But I mean, yeah, you guys are here. Hopefully you can hear us. Let us know you can. And we're going to get rocking. I get to do the first subject, which I'm excited about. And no one knows what I'm bringing up. Brent's trying to hide from it. I'm just letting him hide from it. But the first topic of conversation.
Oh, boy.
The quote or line that's said in this space that drives you crazy. What line or quote or thing said in the space that drives you crazy?
No idea.
Who's going?
No idea.
I have to think about it. I have to think about that one.
All right. One of the lines that drives me banana sandwich is how you do anything is how you do it. To me, that's an utter lie. This is why. This is how I say this. How I have any conversation is not how I have every conversation. I have a conversation with my daughter much different than stranger down the street.
True.
It's a different kind of conversation. It feels different. Me personally, someone said this once to me. They're like, money. How you do one thing with money is how you do everything with money. I was like, I don't agree. Personally, financially, I'll spend like crazy. Business financially, I'm like, hold up, make sure this makes sense.
Right.
Right. I look at it completely different. For a business, I have it set up where there's multiple people that are involved with our expenditures to make sure that I'm seeing all the angles and that it works right. I don't do that in my personal finances. I'm not like that's my.
I'd be there for you.
I know you would.
Yeah.
Right. But it's like my thing is so how you do one thing is how you do everything. I think that's completely bogus. You don't do anything, even in its own subject matter. Right. How you work with one client might not be how you work with another. I'll double down. If you do one thing, how you do everything, you are messing it up. Because you are supposed to handle every relationship different, every client different, every situation different. How I handle live events is different than how I handle virtual events, right? Like that's why when they're like, oh, anything's everything. I'm like, no, like, come on, we don't handle anything the same. I don't even handle every situation with my daughter. Right? Like, I don't understand when someone says that. What does it even mean? Like, what do we put the same care into everything we do? We know that's a lie. I'm going to brush my teeth. I'm like, hold on. Did I get the back spec of my, I don't have like 50 teeth. But I'm like, did I hit? Maybe you should. Maybe that's why I don't have enough kids. But But
I'm just excited to be in this room, bro. This is nice. I like that over there. This is sweet. I haven't. Yeah, dude.
home base.
Yeah, it's nice. Nice 28 by 28.
I'm really happy you're saying this because he's pretty worked up, so I'm glad you're reflecting it. Thank you.
Okay. You're saying a lot, so we can all break down like Echo is really.
You can debate or argue, or you can say you're wrong. So I said the first one. You guys can debate that topic or say you're wrong.
Well, I think this is a bigger epidemic than just this space. I think in general, any industry has all kinds of cliches. And when people use cliches and all they do is quote things, that's a problem. They're not original. Originality is rare. So just be you, be original. Stay away from cliches, whether you're in a space or not. That's all I got to say about that.
Ooh. What am I going to say about that?
Remind me, what was that?
Greatest phrase used in the state that drives me nuts.
For me, it was, I'm too afraid to do it, and I'll wait for the time.
Another
You
cliche.
know, with my personal experience with everything that's happened, you're not guaranteed a tomorrow. So why are you going to wait for 6 months, a year, 10 years down the road to do something that you want to do with your life to make a difference
Right.
when you can just make that one decision and jump forward with it?
And I think people throw cliches because they want to hide behind them rather than telling what they how they truly
Yeah.
feel.
The mine would be like self-made. 'Cause no one's self-made. Like it takes a village.
Yes.
So
I used to be so dumb with that one. When I was younger.
What's up, man?
self-made.
God, I used to do all kinds of stuff. Hey, sucking them like people. Ordered me back then, hugged me through things,
Mm.
added pieces in, stayed with me 3 times, and no one should have stayed with me, or
Right.
I understand no one stay with me. But it makes complete. So when I was like, when I was, when I was young, I used to feel self-made like a mug all the time, and now I'm like, hey, no one, like,
No.
I didn't make it through middle school being self-made. People, the janitor, I'll never forget his name, Tom Wheatley. This dude, Tom Wheatley, he was the man. This dude literally got me to middle school. He would know when I was about to freak out, and he would take me to his office and be like, sit in that chair and chill until you're ready. If you're not ready right now, and figure it out. I didn't even think that he was speaking love to me. I was like, just trying to pull me aside. Who is he? Who am I?
All right, what's that?
I was in 8th grade. I had so much built up rage that I would like just someone would do something in his school. I want to freak out.
Mm.
No, he was a janitor.
Nice.
Right, he was a janitor. He would just see me and be like, "Oh, hold up." And it was when I played basketball. Me and my stuff like when I played basketball, anything good I did, him and his brother, Tom and you, like anything I did, they'd be like, right, every game. You ever see me in middle school? In middle school, I played varsity high school basketball.
Okay.
And any play I made, I would always point to the sideline. And like, oh, is that your mom or something? Oh, the janitors, bro. They got my back. Yeah,
Nice, dude.
because they had my back. Turn it around. Turn it around.
Pointed towards you.
Pointed towards you.
Pointed towards you.
Pointed towards me. Pointed towards me.
There you
I
go.
did that. I got yelled at. But
We good?
perfect. Let's go. But I'm getting it right. Give me time. I'm like, no, we can't. I
Is
got
that
time.
feedback that he's getting, or is that you just checking it
That's
out?
the live. Yeah, that's the
Okay.
All right, so I love that because I used to use that phrase and I was such a
Mhm.
jerk and dummy that I would think it was true, like self-made. And when I use the word self-made, I think like we decided this is the person, and that is yours.
Mm.
Right? Like everything we do, that's the person we're deciding to be. We want to be or not, but that's the person you're deciding.
Mm.
And that's I think is the only thing like self-made.
Because there's a lot of power in choice, man.
Hell yeah.
And you said something, man. You said about making a decision. I think you can make a decision and you can say, I'm deciding on that. But then you can have patterns and behaviors that creep back on, or people that aren't used to be making that decision that come to you. And that's going to be stretching you back to go the other way. And even though I may say I'm going to do this, to have that back pulling back, man, that's tough.
Oh,
So I just want to
absolutely.
jump on that. And yeah, I actually just made a post about that the other day.
The self-made thing.
About how it takes tribe.
Yeah,
It really
Oh,
does.
for sure.
Okay.
For sure.
In the right tribe.
Yeah, the right tribe, not just a tribe.
Yeah.
Like what he was saying about sometimes people around you they want you to stay with them.
Yeah.
So they don't want you to go.
Most
He
of
loves company type
Damn right,
thing.
crap, budget, man.
most of the time, that tribe is not your blood family.
100%. Well, that's why it's like, I think blood and family are two things.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah.
So Brent, you weren't here. What phrase in the space drives you nuts?
Trust
Except everyone.
trust the process.
Oh my God.
Another cliche.
I'm working on a talk for Nashville. Trust the process.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, I think it's overused. I think that we say it to make ourselves feel better, but the point is we really don't know what the process is. Some people at a certain level can say trust the process because they understand it, but then if I'm leading somebody and I say, hey, just trust the process, and you're new in the game, you're like, okay, cool, but then you just sit back and
If it's my process that I created, I'll trust it because I created it. If
Yeah.
it's somebody else's that I don't know about and I'm just hiding behind it, that's a problem.
and it creates a place where we don't know what we're doing. And Michael said just to trust the process, or Margaret said just to trust the process, and I'm not really sure what the
What is
process.
the process?
Did I really learn the process from you, and when do I expect this to reach this milestone or this milestone? And when we try to bring people into our business for our team, or even if you're bringing people in as a client, we got to be careful how we say the phrase trust the process. Make sure that we're teaching, we're educating correctly to our staff or to our clients, so that when we say something like that, they're like, oh, I get it now, so I'm definitely going to trust the process.
I think people use that also just when things are not going the way they planned.
Oh yeah,
I just trust the
Cop out.
process.
yeah,
Or a coach telling their subject,
yeah.
or the person they're coaching, hey, just trust the process. Maybe it's just not going well. So that kind of,
Yeah.
I'm not saying I agree with it.
No, I think
Just-
also too, it's not trust the process, it's do the process.
Mhm.
Right? Like, I think sometimes when we say trust the process, like, you don't have to do nothing. Just trust it.
It's gonna
It's funny
happen.
you saying that because the whole time he was saying trust the process, I was thinking Joel Embiid, do it.
Yeah.
Just do
Oh my gosh,
it. That was gonna be my answer of I'm not really, I wouldn't say this phase. I think everything's related to everything, but
Right.
do it. That's like you post a lot about just act day to day, act.
Take action.
And I'm like, okay, well, there's like 52 different things that I can act on
That's why
right
you have
now.
a guy.
Mm.
Right? Like, that's why I don't love, like, coaching space. I make fun of that crazy mental space. I love a lot because it's like, they have done this thing. I'm
Yep.
gonna do this thing.
Yep.
That's cool. Let me see how you did it. I'm going to take bits and pieces. I'm not going to do everything.
Right.
I'm going to take bits and pieces that fit me and align with me.
Yep.
I'm going to use those in my life to be able to build on.
So I don't have to use your time and your energy and your mistakes, and I can just
Right. I
Learn
condense
from there.
time.
Yep.
I get success
Yep.
faster. Right. I
Yep.
condense time. Right. Because what I don't want to do is have all the battles. What's the point of fighting all the battles I fought? And you fight all the battles, and neither one of us learn from each other's battles to avoid it.
Mm.
Right. Because we don't need all.
I
And
could
if
cry,
we can
yeah.
avoid some and get further, then we made it further without some of those battles, and we're not going down battle tested. And then it's like, I love battle tested people, but I also know with battles comes the time when you need to replenish. Right? We need to sit back and nurse our wounds and heal from those battles and then fight again. Right? It's like why boxers don't fight back-to-back days. Right? Because they need time to heal. Right? Like, we need that time to be able to be like, all right, so if I can avoid some battles, understand the lessons and how to conquer that
Right.
without having to necessarily walk in and get hit by those things, then you made it where I can go further, faster, without some of the scars.
Yeah.
Right? Because we all have scars. Most of us, we all have serious endings.
If somebody blew up by stepping on that landmine, and somebody's telling you don't step on that landmine, don't step on the landmine.
Yeah, right. Don't
You know.
step on that.
Don't do that.
Or listen to
It's gonna
people
hurt if you do
like that they stepped on the landmine, so then you can not blow up.
And it's like also, I think all too often we use things that we don't necessarily make us uncomfortable. So when we say trust the process, like I don't do anything, I'm on the right path. I'm doing, and it's like no, you can be on the right path, but you still got to do something. Because where you are now doesn't mean that's where you'll be. And I don't believe you stay in the same place. Like everybody's like, if you don't do anything, you'll be in the same place next to you. Like no, it'll be worse.
So I just moved
It
backwards.
will be
Right.
it will be
It
worse.
won't be the same place. There is no staying the same place.
Nope.
We're going
Changing.
backwards and forwards. Right? So when they say that, I'm always like, oh, shit, let's give a couple shots out. Shout out. So Bobby Jones in the house, Jesse Mark.
BJ.
Bobby.
Oh,
Jesse, Margaret.
Sean Mulder's in the house. Definitely, guys. Remember, this is a live, so if you comment, and as many comments as you have, you get the money for free lunch. Every comment gets you a ticket for free lunch. So definitely say what you think, say what you believe, say what you feel about the topic. We'll definitely call them out, and we appreciate you guys being here. Just Mark said, "Love you."
What's up,
I love you.
Right as well.
Allegra.
So, yeah, I said that.
What's up?
I said Allegra.
Okay.
Listen, don't trust the process. Listen. But the popcorn in the house. So Spencer, what's the line that you hear?
Mine was going to be do it. Yeah. What is this? What do you guys? How often do you guys do this? This is nice.
Every Tuesday.
Okay.
Yeah, we just
It's
started
been a
back
couple
up.
weeks though.
Oh, it's been a while. It's been
About a year.
I'm jumping on a couple lives that you guys have done, but I don't know if the collection of people that are here right now have been.
No, it's usually different every week.
Okay.
Special.
That's wonderful.
Yeah, this is a special.
So this is very
I mean, it
special.
looks like you guys are all very intentional. Everybody was parked right at the door.
We wanted to be here.
Yeah, I know. My apologies.
You put a table, yeah.
Because they said the sound was going in and out, so I didn't want it. It's probably us.
What?
So it's not you guys.
Yeah, I guess.
Nice, thank you.
For the ladies.
So
Yes, exactly.
next topic, Brent. He's expecting that.
You want me to give us the next topic?
Yeah.
I-
Hit us
I
with
did the
it.
first one.
Hit us with the blink.
You really hit me with the blink. Next topic. I don't know. What do you want to talk about?
Ooh,
You want to talk
I
about?
mean, we haven't done this in a while, so like, what's been going on? Unleash You Now. What's been going on?
We can talk about what's coming up.
There you go, come up.
A big thing we have coming up next month is our six-figure weekend. Yeah, I mean, so we're still looking for some people to come into our six-figure weekend. So our six-figure weekend is one of our favorite events that we do. That's where we talk about. We love to do events. We've done a lot of events.
Yeah, a lot.
So we love to take you through that. Instead of just saying trust the process of an event, right? We want to take you through how actually how we put on our events from as Michael will teach, the pre, set it up from the very beginning all the way through wrapping it up and following up from your event. But the whole point is to take you through the process and show you how we do it and get you excited about throwing your own event to where you get to a point where you throw an event and you make six figures.
So you can do it.
So you can do it.
Just do it.
Yeah, so we do the Michael does the pre launch all the way through. The
Oh boy, here we go.
But it's fun. I mean, you get here and we take care of you. Once you get here, if you find we get you, we take care of you, we take you everywhere. You don't have to worry about anything, and we just give you information. We love on you and share with you. And then I love too that it's not just the event; it's what happens after the event. We want to see you, encourage you to put on your event. We want to help you try to attend your event and be there with you through it. It's a process, and we love to take you on a journey.
Oh boy.
And
You should trust it.
do it.
Just do it.
I'm gonna stop talking now.
How many times have you done it in the format that you're going to do it next month?
3.
3?
What?
Nice.
Well, post COVID.
Post COVID.
6 years.
Right. And that event is here?
Yeah.
In
Okay.
Delaware.
In the
September,
22.
22nd to the 24th.
22nd to the 24th.
Yeah. Michael does more of like the marketing aspect, and putting your offer together and everything. And Brent talks about social media, and Evan talks about video and digital stuff like photos. And then I'll talk about event logistics. And
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Show Evan some love.
Yeah.
Evan's behind the cameras right now.
Evan's behind the camera.
Show some love.
Evan.
Just see him. He's got his hair right with a hat on.
Yeah,
He's worked on it, man.
The guys.
He's been working the whole time.
When I was in 11th grade, I had hair like that.
I did.
Yeah.
They can try to grow back.
Okay, it's not. It's falling.
You're doing good.
There was a baseball player in the 70s called Bake McBride. He used to play for the Indians. So he had his hat, and it's like,
I love it.
You mean for the Guardians?
you gotta get in front of the camera.
The Indians.
Yeah.
One of the things I love about Six Figure is that it pulls the curtain back, right?
Okay.
It's not
Yeah.
like we're hiding things, right? We're going to show you exactly how we do it. And one of the reasons why we do that, oh my God, he actually showed up 8 hours late. One of the reasons why we do that is because we want other people to do it well.
That's awesome.
People don't talk about now because it's been so long that we had numerous events that we lost money, right? That made it hard for a business, right? And it made it hard for our movie. It made it hard for us
like this and look
Yeah,
like
very
that.
And some people can't afford
Went over his
to
own.
go through those hiccups, those mountains, and not make something from it. And keep going. It's like recently, Alex Schmoes, they said both did. What Alex Schmoes did was the perfect webinar script. He did it to a T. It was amazing. You don't find any hate from me what Alex Schmoes did.
Is that what he's known for? This,
No, Alex Mosey was the gym launch guy,
Mhm.
and he would go and show people how to launch their gym and do it for them, and then he would sell them the method to do it, and then he sold that business for millions and started buying pieces of businesses that had 100, or at this point it was 3 million in profit, and he would buy them, scale them, and then try to sell them and make more money from that. That's what he
Impressive.
grew in a decade, in a 10-year span, and he did a killing. He's over his net worth now is over 100 million, right?
he did pretty good.
He did really good.
Mhm.
And he impacted a bunch of lives. And
Yeah.
now he's in the position where he doesn't need to sell you $100 thing or $9.97 thing. He did for a decade, and he built that wealth. Well, now a lot of people saw that, and they're like, "This is how you do it. You don't sell anything." And I'm like, "No, that's what you do it when you're worth 100 million. Right? When you're worth $10, you sell the shit out of things because that's what he did. He sold the shit out of things." Right? And he just went and he made cold calls, he made cold meetings, he made cold messages, and he reached out to people and he built a Facebook following. And now he has thousands of people that'll check out his stuff and buy his thing and support him and root for him. But at the beginning he didn't. And I think we're looking at where he is now, saying that's what we should do here. And I'm like, if I did that at the beginning, we wouldn't be
we
here.
wouldn't be here. It's funny you mentioned that because how many people in the last year, 2 years have said, "UnleashU, you guys just popped up.
Yeah.
UnleashU, wow, where you guys been?" Dude, we've been at this since 2011. Like this iteration, right? Like, bro, this has not been an overnight success. It's the same thing where people can't start where even you are now, Fabber. Like, you're that guru of marketing. You got it down, bro. You're the guy, and we've got our specialists, and within our mastermind program, we've got our people, we got Javier, we've got David, we got Spencer, we got all of our people with us that have their specialties. But the whole point is, man, it's like, it didn't happen overnight. You know what I mean? It was like, yo, we took a long time to get to this point. So to that respect, like I that's great, right? But I think you would miss so many things if you didn't understand the point of that is you don't start where they are. You got to see that journey. You got to see that pain, that slog. I mean, we always say it's better to learn it than earn the hard way. We've had to earn some things the hard way. And that's something that, we can talk about till the cows come home, bro. Like, we've earned the hard way on a lot of different things, but ultimately you get an opportunity to learn that so you don't have to. And if you go into business where they are, you're going to miss so many integral steps that build you and that character of the businesses is also last. I mean, we talked about how many different businesses last year fail, make it on margins alone, man. We're talking 4% of businesses are successful at a certain number, right? That we were talking about. I know, Fabber, you're big on that logistics and number stuff, but ultimately, man, when we get down to it, so when we get down to it, it's how do you maximize that profit? But it's by knowledge, by those being there going through it. But I will say, man, I do love that point is brought up because you can't look at someone's success of now and negate the last 10 years of fight that each dog has got in them to make that work. You know what I mean? Yes, sir.
You got to go through that.
Yeah, and I mean,
You got to have
did your business happen over like, oh, hey, It's like the best in the biz when it comes to building websites and all the platforms. I agree, man. But yo, did it happen yesterday?
Been doing this for over 30 years.
Well, shit.
Are you at a Dover, sir?
Oh man, we did meet, dude. I met you with Bobby. He was coming to grab something.
Right, we got to talk.
Awesome. I knew I'd seen you somewhere. I just couldn't think of where.
I knew it.
So, hey, Bobby, he gave me a shout out online.
Did he supposed to
Oh, nice. Love you, Bobby.
Yeah,
I gotta pay attention, bro. I can't be looking at my phone like it's right now.
So,
So bottom was something about Connect or something.
oh, word.
That's dumb. Right, but no, I think when we don't pull the curtain back and show the thing,
Yeah,
it sets someone up for disaster because they're missing steps.
exactly.
Because we don't want to show all the steps because we think if we hang on to them, then we'll be more valuable later on.
And it's that get rich
And it's
quick
like,
crap.
dude, all you're doing is screwing the person trying.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, you bought this step? Awesome. Now buy this next one. Oh,
You know, we're talking earlier about stepping on landmines. Even though people can help us not step on them, blow up, sometimes we do have to step on them for
Yeah.
lessons. Because if we miss all of them, we don't learn those lessons to build character and get that grit. That's
You either, they say you either earn it or learn it, right? I think when we don't take something, we don't heat something seriously, we're like, oh, yeah, whatever, bro. And then all of a sudden you hit one of those landmines, you're like, damn, why this happened? And you're like, yeah, well, you didn't listen, right?
Should have learned that sooner.
I wish someone told me.
Oh man, I should have listened.
I like that for playing that you.
Right, yeah, exactly. So it's like those things where it's like sometimes we let our ego get in the way and we're like, oh, yeah, way to tell us. It's like growing up, your parents say things. I always thought my dad was a lunatic. And then I got older and I was like, Jesus, he was right about pretty much everything. And I was like, dude, and I thought he was the dumbass. I'm like, yeah, he was right. I guess I was the dumbass.
I was so intelligent young. Yes.
There's a saying: people act when they see the light or when they feel the heat. Most of us, the second one.
Yeah.
But maybe sometimes.
And so let's trick ourselves. Right, that's what I said. Let's trick ourselves into the pain and be like, if pain makes us operate, right? I learned from pain, right? So if pain makes us operate, create the vision of if I don't do anything different, if I just stay the same, what am I going to be like in 5 years? If I treat my kid the same for 5 years, what is our relationship going to be like? If I do these things, who am I going to become? What's it going to be like?
That's a good fear.
And then it's like, oh shit, I don't want to become or have that situation. I need to change this now in order to do it. That's what he was talking about. He's like, man, like what? Knock out. Knock him out.
Living or dying, man.
Well,
Too.
Yeah. What was that?
interesting that you say that because I had a gut check reality about a year and a half ago. I was traveling a lot, man. I was on the road constantly, and then one day I'm staring at myself in a hotel room mirror, and I'm like, this is my life if I really F up. Like in a hotel alone, like no family, right? Like lose it all. And it was just like, man, like that's a pretty friggin' morbid thought, but it goes a long way to saying, like, Rick, we've got a lot, we've built a lot, we've got a lot to be proud of, but it didn't come overnight. It's an opportunity that came over a lifetime of some hardships, an opportunity to learn some of those steps, which we're grateful for because, as we talk, Faber and I have earned a lot of scars in business and in life. And, the fact that we're able to help translate that and build up to our ultimate life goal, right? End self-harm, suicide, that'd be fantastic in our lifetime, but ultimately helping you achieve your inner ability to be great. I mean, ultimately, everybody's got that ability inside themselves, but you have to really step up and do the work and the accountability portion. So that's what I love about Michael. A lot of the talk that we have, and David, Javier, Spencer, you guys are great examples of people putting in work to help better yourself and change yourself. Part of the mastermind is really what we do here at the UnleashU Now community is really about bettering yourself. And we want you, no matter what, to be better than when you came in. Honestly, David, I can say you're a very different human being from the first day I met you. And that's not, to say good, bad, or indifferent because you're a beautiful individual no matter how you are. But I can tell you the progress that you've made as a person, man, it's just killer. But business, shocking. The ideas you've had, the progress that you've come to really start taking in that ownership of earning it through the learn methods that we have here and that Faber's put in place and that Brent's really driving on social media. But the community leverage, man, Javier and Spencer and everybody that we're connected to that has their specificity
We have
of
another
their
Spencer.
ask, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
I mean, you're welcome here, but.
That's right. That's right. The Prince of Positivity.
No, my-
I have an interesting idea. I've never done. Alex, you gave me the idea. It was like, you planted seeds. I want to hear from 3 people on here that are not like Unleash You Now team that works the events and things. And because all you came in at different times, you were in a little before him, and he was in a little before you.
I'd love to hear.
Right.
How you talking you up,
Let's
man. I'd love to hear all
start-
about you, bro.
And also, like,
You got some.
your experience with Unleash You Now, what are the timelines, the bad, the difference, whatever.
Well, no, honestly, it's crazy.
Oh, well, the
I
other
was talking about me, man, because this whole time. I was like, man, he's got-
You love it.
Oh,
talk about
Yeah, ironically, the craziest thing was I just decided to reach out to this guy, Fabber, is how I thought his last name was pronounced. And then we just connected over the commonalities of us losing our brothers. And once I was able to get past my own ego and allowing people to come into my life to help me out, that was when everything changed. And then it also helped that I had an accident last year. That's where I wanted to say, don't wait for tragedy to dictate how you live your life. Because last year, I had this grand old idea for new beginnings, right, with my company. And I was going to take it to the whole next level. I came to the first men's retreat. And that first retreat was, they took a half hour pouring into me, the whole guys did. That's when I knew when my ex-wife left me, when my best friend that left, when he said that he would always hang out, where I took him deep sea fishing. We went bear hunting together every week, and I knew that these guys would always have my back. And then when I had that accident, when I remember waking up in the hospital thinking, and hearing the nurses saying, we're lucky this kid didn't have to have his skull have bullet holes drilled in because I had 3 brain bleeds, and coming back from that and realizing the struggles that I've been through, I needed to take it to the next level. And that's when I decided to invest. And Mike was always there. I would text him at 11 o'clock at night, and I would feel terrible because it's 1 o'clock over here because I'm from Denver. But he would always respond to me. And everybody in the community would do that. The support, even with my book coming out, the biggest people that have supported me is the Unleash You Now fam, without me even asking. And that's what it's about, being a part of it. And it's exponentially built my company, my relationship with this fool, up to a brothership. And that's why it's completely different than when we first connected.
Yeah, you
That
big
was
shout
a year
out.
ago. That was a year ago.
It's been about 2 years now.
Big shout out to Daniela and Emilio Romano. Came back from their event this weekend. A bunch of us were there. Yes. At least.
Bobby, y'all.
You're there. Bobby, what about you? You've had a little, what, over a year now experience with us. So,
It's like a lifetime.
my guy. Man, what's the question?
Can't get rid of us.
I'm just kidding.
You're not there, Bobby.
I have to follow you now.
Oh, dude, you're nice. Thank you.
You can do it. I mean, even you.
Now, what?
You can do it.
So, gosh, this space I have no idea about ever. I just did all kinds of things that instinctively I did, and I worked on for myself, but didn't realize there was a name for these things in a category. So I ran into Michael. I went to a men's retreat, and I just wanted a weekend away just to be away from everybody.
My favorite is the emailing sequence between me and you before. He almost backed out because I was so bad. We were so bad at emailing one
Yeah,
another.
and we're still bad at it.
Yeah, we can't text.
So we just talk.
Yeah.
But I connected with the community, and I was like, oh, this is kind of cool. And then I learned and was sharpened, and I was like, well, there's a lot of serious men here wanting to be better fathers, better husbands, better businessmen, better humans. I'm like, huh, that's kind of cool. And it's not fake. It's kind of weird.
Yeah.
It's not fake.
Wow. So,
That's lovely.
right. So I kind of kept diving into that. I actually joined the mastermind pretty much like within a week or so.
Yeah, 2 weeks after the master, after the ministry.
And then from then on, I'm a person that likes to get involved and show up.
How long ago was your first retreat?
It was March.
A year ago.
I've been to 3 now, so it was March of 2022.
Yeah,
Fourth.
Yes, sir.
But what I can say about this, is at 52, I've had my midlife crisis, and it wasn't red Corvettes and blonde.
Yeah.
Hey,
I'm very happily married. But my personal experience as a human being, as a businessman, I'm now shifted to a place that is different and better and continue to grow because of the people led by Michael. And also the friendships have been forged from what this community has. I wouldn't have met these people if it wasn't for the events and the things that UnleashU puts together. A lot of long life friendships and from personal and business have materialized from this. I know I have to pursue those, but I would never have met or even those connections have ever been made because of this. So if that's a very long-winded answer, it could be anything.
I love, listen, one of the things I love that you just did was one, you were very honest about the situations unfolded. You said twofold. Two things that I absolutely love that most people will either ignore one. And I like that you didn't ignore it either. You said if it wasn't for UnleashU now, the opportunities to meet them the way you did and the timing you did would not have happened. And you also know you have to do your part for those relationships to unfold and how they're going to. Right? I love that because a lot of people will always give one or the other. Right? They'll be like, oh, UnleashU now, you did it all. And I'm like, no. And then they're like, well, I did everything because I built it. I'm like, stop. Like, there's pieces to every equation. Like, there's parts of it. And acknowledging the parts doesn't make one less or more. It's just acknowledging the parts. Right? And I always hate when people try to, like, either they don't want to take, like, David's always like, I didn't do anything, you do it. I'm like, shut up. Right? And then it's like,
when did I say that?
never.
I've heard you say it.
Never said that.
I've heard you say it.
Yes, 100%.
I've never ever said that. You're a liar.
I'll lie.
Let's go. It's not gonna that.
I'm going to say UnleashU over and then Allegra said the community is phenomenal.
Yeah, it's funny we talk about community and specifically hobby. Like I had to go to Florida to meet a guy in my own.
Oh, isn't that crazy?
Right? Like
Me and Jesse always laugh about that.
Yeah.
Literally, is over and
Yeah.
we hung out at our wedding trip.
it's great because like we're in another state. We had to fly 2.5 hours or drive 14, 15 hours to get to a spot where we were actually hanging out and we only lived 20 minutes from each other. So not only that, but I would say we immediately forged a friendship. I think Javier, he's a cool cat because
I would agree with that.
you're a real dude. Like, one of the great things that when most men who come to those events let their guard down and realize that it's not a front, we're not trying to measure things, we're not trying to talk about who's got the nicest car. It's all about genuinely wanting to be better. It clicked really well. And then it was like, all right, when you talk about being a better father, being a better husband, being a better man, and just you can't be better for anyone else in your life unless you're the best you. So you got to take that time. But our connection, we have a mutual friend that I now work for, essentially. You helped me in my professional career land a pretty great position with a great company. So, that wouldn't have happened had we had not met through the UnleashU Now connection. However, us realizing when we met we're genuinely good people, where you felt comfortable enough to tell a college friend that you trust, this guy's
It's for you,
Yeah.
right? That's insane.
In spite of the fact that he's an Eagles fan.
I think most of the time, most people that know us longer would not do that.
Exactly. Like, I don't vouch for anybody.
2 years, I would.
I don't vouch for anybody, and this dude vouched for me.
So no
So,
problem vouching for you.
well, it was amazing, and I appreciate you for that. But let me tell you, like, that couldn't have happened if we didn't have that organic moment. So, the way that you mentioned those couple of things that you talk about, letting your guard down, and it was real.
One shine,
It was real.
That's awesome.
So if you decide to ever want to join our mentor retreats, David, this would be your fourth one. Javi, your fourth one. Brent, we've golly, we've done so many of the vaccine. I look at this and I say, if you genuinely want to come to this thing and get anything out of it, leave the bullshit, the ego at home, man. Leave the mask at
No
home.
posing.
We don't care how much money that you make.
Expose the posers.
I don't care who you hang out with. I don't care what mansion you try to rent and what Lambo you try to rent to enhance your videos. I don't care.
Best.
It doesn't matter. Just be a genuine human being. And you may find some incredible value because we
Right.
found people
Just,
in so many different fields of spectrum.
That's it. Come down next
I
week.
know. Jesse, can you come next week or
So,
someone?
This is
Jalen?
another. I actually asked this question. No offense to you, two. I really want to hear what we've been through these kind of conversations before. So one of the reasons I really wanted to ask this was because of Spencer, because 2 years ago he kind of ran into us for a day, and
I don't know
then
if you're gonna bring that up or not.
and then now you're back, right? And you're like, right? And you love you back.
Mike also answers my phone at 1 o'clock in the morning, and we'll talk for 4 hours, and then I'm like, holy cow, man!
I'll text.
No, I text him, and now it's all of them, and it's very, very beneficial for my mental health.
Me too.
Good.
Yeah.
These Texas scumbags. No, I appreciate it.
My feelings are hurt. I know what I am.
It's a good day.
I call him at 3 a.m. Who gives a shit? He's never sleeps.
I'm sleeping at 3 a.m.
Yeah.
Now it's like, from someone that's literally like dipping their toes in this, eating it, and being like, and I'm sure, like I always said, like if I ran into this, I wouldn't believe it. Right? It's like Bobby Jones himself. He always says when he heard that we were in Delaware doing this, he was like, BS. Like, I'm in Delaware, like I would have heard of it. And I'm like, I mean, guess not, right? So I was like, here, just come check it out, see what you think. And it worked from there. But it's like for someone to just dip in their toes, and that was a beard here, just dipping their toes in it. What do you think? Like, what is your running? What's your
So I, being from Sussex County, cannot imagine that I would not have met you at some point along my path. But bro, Kevin Thompson, if you end up watching this, bro,
he's watching right now.
Introducing me to this guy.
What up, Kev?
Because the first time I met you was in the arena. Is that what it's called? And yeah, that was awesome. And my first event, the way you guys like the introduction to it, where the suspense, the buildup of not telling us anything, and like just put us all together. We can choose to talk and choose to, there's no assigned seats, and you just sit whatever, and everybody's kind of friendly. And then, all right, guys, stand up, get up right now, we're leaving. And jumping into a really nice luxury vehicle, to not know when we were going, and that was a 3-day event that for the longest time I regretted. And recently I realized that I wasn't ready for this part of my life. And that happened for a reason. But just that one night, I've met connections that, people that I've talked to. There's men and women that I met that one night that I probably talk to on a once a month basis. PA, California, Kelly from out west.
What event was this?
It was the launch and do event.
Oh, okay.
He went to the first
Yeah, it was badass. It was awesome. So,
Right, it was the second one back from COVID.
Yeah.
It was the February one. Right, I remember you came one day, then you got sick, and then like a couple months ago,
September, October.
Yeah,
Was it?
that was
Yeah,
probably-
September, October.
yeah, it was the one. Yeah, Bobby came in February, so it was the second half of the year.
That was the first time I met Bobby. He was now my boss and trusted, colleague and so yeah, man. Glad to be here.
No, man, and it's
I'll
like
answer your question.
you answered the best that was supposed to be answered. Also, I love what you said about like the timing. Right, it's like you were there, but you're like the next part of this. I'm not there yet, so I'm going to be taking things I can't use right now.
Right.
Yeah.
So that'd be pointless. So let me go get to the place where I can use these things now and then go through it.
Well, at that time, I didn't know it.
Right.
At that time, I didn't know it. But looking hindsight, yeah, absolutely.
Oh,
I wanted to pause on that because the minute you said I wasn't ready. I think there's a lot of misconception around that term.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of shit going around about people saying when they're ready, when they're not, right? Like
The time is now.
the time is now. And I think, Faber, you may have posted something today, like people wait to have money to invest money, like you're missing the point,
Yeah.
right? Like there's some things in that, but
I'll wait until I have money to
Yeah.
invest money to make money. Like, no, you don't understand.
you're missing the point.
Yeah.
Right? And I look at that as a similar investment on yourself at the time, Spencer, where you came and we're like, this guy was cool. We got to chill for a minute, got to kind of talk with you a little bit, do the introductions and everything, and then all of a sudden you're gone. And I was like, yo, Faber, where's Spencer at? And then when we ran into each other again, I'm like, all right, he's back. So really, what would you say defined your ready moment? I mean, what would you say became to where you felt you were ready to jump into this? Was it?
Presently, right as I walk through that door right there, man, I am presently still walking into the person that I'm becoming right now. As a you know,
Great, brother.
Preach.
yeah. So the reason I didn't come back to that Saturday and Sunday was because I was hooked on hard drugs, man, and I was trying to quit and get off. My immune
Thank you
system
for sharing that.
literally just I was sick. I was actually sick, but it wasn't because I was jacked up on anything. It was because my immune system was so broken down and I caught a common cold and couldn't even get out of bed. And so for that to be also the reason why I missed out, or I thought I missed out on connection and growth and relationships with those people that were there. And it was just by a magical moment that you invited me anyway, man. You know what I mean? I think like you ended up having an opening that came up or something, and very last minute. And yeah, so thanks
Yeah,
for
well, thanks for
clicking in, bro.
sharing that, because I mean, we all go through parts in our lives that, you know, hey man, haven't been great. I mean, sunshine and rainbows coming out of anybody's rear end around here. So let me tell you that you know, I'm proud of you for that, and thank you for stepping into it, man. You're becoming every day, because that's all we can do, right?
Yeah,
Everybody's
right.
fighting, brother. Like,
Yes, thank you.
with me, mental health and everything else, man, you know, we're big proponents of that, because dude, nobody knows the struggles we go through, and it's you know, it's difficult. And but the fact is, man, we're here for each other, because we've all kind of been in some of that shit in some way, form or another, right? But I look at that ready point. So you say, okay, you're trying to clean up your act, right? You're working towards being a better man, but was there anything significant in your mindset that says, okay, now I'm ready to like put action to it?
Man, so this is so personal, man.
Right, I know nobody watches all.
I want better feelings.
No, no, no,
and
no.
I benefited from something else.
We're just thinking, what's up, show black? What up?
You can be.
You don't have to break it down like that, man.
I think it was a combination of many different things, man. Brent, you were a part of that. Actually, I stopped by your church and was part of a beautiful, beautiful Mother's Day sermon that you guys did, man. And that all fell in line with another men's retreat that I did with a great organization. If anybody's in the is a Christian or interested in it, called Fisher of Men Foundation. They they hold a retreat out by Deal Island, and a guy named Frank Parks. Frank, if you end up seeing this, man, thank you, brother, love you. And so a combination of going there and just really trying to internally reflect on what makes me me and what I want and what I didn't want, and also being in recovery and trying to work the steps, and praying a lot about it, man, and a combination of all of those things happening continually. And I'm definitely will never say I'm perfect, but I am striving to be the best me that I can be.
Yeah.
Not only me, but strangers when I meet them, or good friends, mentors, or future mentees that I have, or family members that I love, and my son and future children.
Nice.
So, boom, mic drop.
I think I did it.
Yeah,
Like that.
Like,
Also, you're closer today than you were yesterday. Being the best here, you're closer today than you were.
I want to like jump on. Let's go. Let's go.
Empty bottles. Let's go.
And I mean, David, you drinks, you know. Fabber, I'm gonna put you on the spot for a second
Yes.
and say, out of the three in the room, right? We've talked about David being here for quite a few years, Bobby stepping in a year and a half, Spencer being newer. What do you see that you take the most joy out of in their journeys over that time frame? You've been
Oh God, in each of
in
theirs?
each of their journeys. What have you been seeing that you kind of pointed out that you feel like most proud of that they've taken action?
All right. Spencer is the fact that he came back. Right after so much time, after you leave something like that, he could have avoided me. He could have avoided me at all costs.
Yeah.
Right? Like he could have avoided Unleashing now at all costs. Like he could have been like, that was a bad moment for me. I don't want to be seen by them again or that way. So, sorry. So it was something that it's like for him to have the courage to come back and be like, Mike, remember a couple years ago that spot? I appreciate it. Wasn't in this place yet, but I am now.
Well, that's because of what you do.
Right, you know, but
Regardless of what I did, you have still been doing my favor, right?
right, but you could have been nice. You could have been like, I'm gonna become a better man, but I'm gonna avoid some of the things when I wasn't.
Yeah, because people can easily turn away
You
from
could avoid
relationships like
you could
that.
avoid relationships, moments, places. Like people would always say people, places, and things.
Yeah.
But like we know that, stay away from those things.
If I may add to that, I think a lot of people's default, and I'm actually in that category until recent years, when things happen in their lives, they tend to retreat and disappear. Where that's the instinct, when the instinct should be to lean on others. Also, when you have a community there's a lot of safety there for leaning towards others. When you start trusting and believing that, that's when it becomes very magical. Sometimes it takes somebody longer than others to get there.
Sometimes.
So,
Sometimes.
are you okay?
Yeah, I was saying, I was feeling that.
Michael Faber.
So yeah, another day.
Some traffic.
Some of the things like us as people, especially when we realize like we weren't our best selves then, or ourselves that we're proud to be necessarily, we'll avoid things of that time in our life because we feel like we'll be seen as that person still, and we don't want to be. Right? A fear is that we are that person. We'll go back to that. Right, so it is a human behavior to say, listen, they knew me then. I'm not going to show them me now because they'll never accept me now or embrace me or even give me an opportunity to be me of now. Right, for him to be like, I'm willingly walking into that space, that takes a lot of courage. Right, because I could have been like, oh, were you homie? Huh? Like, get away from me. You had that 3 days, right? Like, I could have did that, and he would have been like, wow, thanks, dickhead, right? Like,
Right. So that reminds me of John Miller, man, the question, the QDQ. I don't know if you guys know anything about that, but
No, that's not-
that is when I go into this room, like I want all of you guys to like me, and I want all of you guys to trust me, and I hope that that's what's going to happen, and I think that that's what's going to happen. But really, I hope that my higher power thinks that he likes me, that he trusts me, so that I like myself, that I trust myself. Is what I'm
Right.
thinking about.
One of the things that I love is like, yeah, sure, like, I want Brent to be like, yo, you're my homie. I've been waiting for that for 7 years, I feel like.
Yeah.
Right? Like, 5, 6 months. Like, you might do like rock, like, I'll ride with you, right? Like, but at the end of the day, like, that would be great. But the number one thing I need is that I'll ride with me. That's the number one thing I need. I need to be able to ride with me. Because if I can't ride with me, and Alex, you knew me for this kind of time, right? There was a time in my life where no one should ride with me, right? Like, I was a rebel without a cause, looking for a way to get out of here. Like, what? Like, I wouldn't have rode. Yeah, I wouldn't have rode with me, right? Like, and yeah. It's like, and that's why, like, now you hear Alex, and I'm still with him because it's like, because that's my dude. He can be like world class, talk a whole bunch of shit, doesn't stop talking, show up late, come in, immediately start talking, right? Like, he can do all that stuff, and I'm like, yeah, it's fucked up, but that's my dude. Like, I'm with him, like, because he was like, I'll be with you, do all this shit, we'll fight whatever it is we have to fight, we'll do whatever we got to do, but I'm with you. And there was times I didn't want to ride with me. Like I was saying, go F off, Mike. Fuck yourself. You're not worth this. And him, Hutz, there's some guys that have been with me for years and years that were like, dude, you might not be now, but we see what you're going to be and we're with you for it. Like, let's rock. Like, it's not going to be all pretty. We're going to have some hard fucking days, but we're going to keep bouncing. Like, we're going to keep going. We're going to rock together. Right? And that taught me that that's who I want to be. I want to be the guy that's like, yo, listen, we're not going to do this perfect. There's going to be days.
So when you're right there in friendships, right there in that moment,
That's bigger than that.
how do you know when you're the role with him, you're playing the role of someone that is there? How do you know when to still be there and when to let them just go and like hopefully they're gonna come back, or are you just gonna keep reaching out? You know,
Well, we've done it both. I mean, he like go 90
what I'm saying?
Yeah, I let
go with a whole bunch of friends. He's like, all you guys go.
Well, I'm very now selective in my time and who I give it to.
Mhm.
I'm very specific in that, right?
Mhm.
Like it's not that I dropped a lot of friends or a lot of acquaintances. So any of you seeing that, don't feel like you got burned. It's the fact that I give my time and attention to those that pour back into me in certain ways. But I have those relationships, those lifers who are my ride or dies that under no circumstance will I ever deny to go do something stupid with, because those are my people. And that, yeah, I don't know if it's like older mentality, just a different cut, a different make, model mentality, or whatever it might be. But like when I say I'm with you, that's it. I'm with you. Faber will attest to it. And I don't tell many people. I got 4 people I've ever told that in my life to. I'm with you outside of my close family. And I show up every day for them. And that's because they pour back into me as well. There's reciprocity there, right? Like I've had people in my life that have been users. We've had that a lot of them users now. We've had users. We've had people trying to come into, I mean, Faber's mentioned it in a moment, right? Like we have been, I will say, exceptionally close family members now for the better part of 20 years. Yeah, he's my brother. And I've seen people take advantage of my brother because of his ability to create amazing things and do some amazing things where people hitch rides and coattail and expect handouts and something for nothing without putting in time and energy. Now, we've been through many iterations of that. Many iterations of that in where I feel like we continuously have situations where I keep saying, hey, keep your eyes on this. He never listens. And yeah, we go to this here and here's what it is. But ultimately, no. But you've got to kind of guard yourself, Spencer, in that moment where you can't give free access to yourself to everybody.
Right.
Simply, and I know you say like you walk into the room, you want people to like you, you want to be offering like of support and service, but ultimately you can't control that.
Not unless doing so then impacts me negatively.
Yeah.
I'm doing it and I'm like being of service, and it's not hindering my obligations or responsibilities that, to my finances or to my child, to my family, my tribe.
Good standards, right?
To keep my word, really.
Yeah. Good standard.
I think,
Yeah, man.
But that's something, yeah.
your
sorry.
willingness to be vulnerable and be in a place of offering your services or serving, you can't withdraw unless you deposit. A lot of people try to do that.
Yeah.
So that economy, it's actually really, really cool when you understand it, that if I deposit now, it doesn't mean I'm going to withdraw here. There's a point that will be given.
Yeah.
But if the spirit is the depositing, the withdrawing will be natural, and you will receive those things. When people understand that, it's very magical. So you don't have to be trusting for everybody when you jump into an environment like that, but your willingness to kind of see who you connect with and be present and show up, it's a big one. And the comment I made earlier about disappearing, I think all of us do that, but I think the idea is just make yourself available. Don't disappear, especially when you're in community, because the people are trying to they can't read your mind. So if you need it, speak.
Yeah.
Right.
Don't be mad at them when they weren't there and they didn't show up.
Right.
I can't read your mind. I
Right.
tried.
Yeah.
And you don't have to give
I can
access
read mine.
to your own self.
Right.
Right. Guard yourself at that point.
Yeah, be guarded.
And you have to set your boundaries. And I like that you said that, right? Your family, your finances, your kids, right? Like that's important. But Javi, something you taught me before was the power of just gratitude and saying thank you. And just
Right.
accepting that gift, right? For
Right.
me, it's difficult. So, Faber, if you ever try to go out to dinner with him and catch the check, right? Like it's fight to the finish, right? It's
You
just
have to sneak off and do it.
yeah. There's some
Keep
things
winning.
where we bless people, but it's hard for some of us to accept that gift back. And we went out to breakfast at one time, which I'd love to do again soon. But just accepting that thank you, I thought was great. So I mean, just thank you for teaching me that too.
No, of course.
So I love that. Just off talking about Spencer, we got into that conversation. I love that. With Javi, it was when he finally let that big ass ego he has aside. And he's like, you can actually help me. I was like, oh my god, no. All right, no. I haven't talked to you about Javi yet, so I was like, I'm doing Javi. With Javi, it was with Javi, he's interesting because Javi didn't care what I had to say about anything until he knew if me and him could be cool. Right? Like he didn't care what I had to say about business, about life, about speaking, about marketing, about messaging. He did not give a damn what I had to say until he knew we would be cool. And then he was like, all right, talk to me. What do you need about that?
Right.
Right. And that took a while. And then when I did it, we would text and I would ruin it. And then I would have to build it back up. And then I would text and ruin it. I'm a horrible texter with him. I'm probably a horrible texter with everybody because I'm like, yeah. And you're like, yeah, pretty bad. Yeah, we're good. We should live
Okay.
right. So I'm a horrible texter.
One more
Oh
time.
my God.
I truly can't say that
Okay,
anything.
is it just me or does he not use punctuation?
Third grade English every year in high school.
He text me huh since I told him I'll burn his next
I'll text you home right now.
You're gonna text me huh right now.
You guys should jump in on any of this.
Oh, dude, he sends me hot all the time. It's like every other day.
I know why we meet.
One day was awesome. And I got
Become sorry.
You have to make full words.
Man.
It's hot over there.
Yeah, we get to.
But
that's a hobby gig, yeah.
Talk about me some more.
with Ham, it was that he's a complex being, right? He's a complex person, and there's lots of layers of hobby, right? There's a lot of layers of good old hobby. And when you had to keep peeling them. So like I'd be like, all right, cool.
Bobby said you're a genius.
Right?
There's
We would break through. No,
when it comes to what you do.
we would no, he was a genius. I would break down a wall and be like, all right, cool, we break down the wall. Here we go. And then it would be like, we're fighting another wall. All right, here we go. All right, and it was like a year of like one more. And then but every time he would lower one, you'd be like, this dude's a special dude.
Wow.
Right? So it's like he's worth the battle of the walls because he's a special dude. He's a good person, right? In many levels of it. Like a good dude, a good brother, like someone to have a good like personal relationship with and connection to, but also someone that's brilliant in what they do, how they do it, and like really cares about mastering his craft, which few people do anymore these days, right? So it was like every time I would be like fighting a wall, I'd be like, what the fuck, right? Like what the hell are we still doing this? And then we would do it, and I'd be like, all right, it was working. And then it'd be like, here we go, another wall. What the fuck are we got? Like, what do I got to do? Is this motherfucker just to think like, oh, just talk to me. I'm like, bro, most of the shit you tell me, I'll forget, right? Like this, you don't have to worry about me telling nobody. I'll forget most of the shit. I forget most of the things I think, right? Like, so I'm not going to tell nobody, not to just talk to me, right? And it was like, we had to keep doing those walls, but then it was because when you learn Javi, he does that all because to the death, he'll protect his people. And every wall he has, you think is really a self-protection, but it's to protect the people he cares about the most. So you don't have an angle at them. Right, and when you learned that, it was like, "You're a dope dude. Like, I got you. Let's get through this shit, so we can figure out."
Nothing to say about somebody.
And one thing I've learned, just the culmination of the year and a half I've been part of all of this in all capacity and whatever, learn how to feel And be vulnerable. And not suck it up, buttercup. And
Right.
people. Okay.
Rub the dirt on it.
Okay.
So
Yeah,
get
it's
that emotion. Yeah.
Mhm.
Also, it's good.
I mean, I've
Sure,
been
sure.
betrayed and been burned quite a lot of times, so that the layers become hard. But I realized that I'm no good to myself or anyone around me if I'm hard and like that all the time.
Right. Right.
I'm actually liking this whole soft thing.
Yeah.
The soft thing's really hard. I watched a commercial.
Right.
You're not crying during Captain Planet.
No, I'm literally like, I'm emotional all the time right now. I'm liking this.
But you know what was great? Earlier today, I stopped by and saw Fabber at the farm and at the office, and he's talking about breaking down walls. We're getting older, right? He was doing this motion. He's like, oh, sure, I got to stop swinging that sledgehammer. I'm like, bro, what are you swinging on the sledgehammer? He's like, no, it's imaginary. Yeah, but you swinging the imaginary sledgehammer, you hurt yourself. Sure, we're getting old, bro.
I shot a helicopter 6 months ago because of Evan.
No, you mean Bobby Jones.
Oh, you call Bobby too, yeah.
Bobby Jones thought there was a step in the hot tub.
He fell on me.
No, the mental oh, it was a step. Missed the step. Right on him. Oh, it was amazing.
Did you get hurt?
Go ahead.
I can't remember.
Oh, you mean Bobby Jones, yeah? No, that's Bobby. Yeah, it was Bobby. No, we blame it on him. If he didn't catch him, he would have come up with six other steps he couldn't have done. There was so
Okay.
I'm a little bit bigger.
everyone's so
But I got a
Yeah.
It's not a good time.
Certainly, he got a lap dance. He didn't even tip Bobby.
No, he took a stomach in his face.
You should have tipped him, man. You blamed it on your lap. That's how it works. And then
Can I say something real quick? Yeah, I'm sorry. So about a half hour of strangers becoming brothers pouring into you, man, and you being able to be vulnerable
Amen.
and not being fake and being genuine, and also not screwing people over, but not knowing like really how to like kind of move and act with no set of guidelines. I mean, like I texted you earlier, dude. I was like, "What time was it at?" What questions do I do? You responded so vague, and I wanted to ask so many other questions. I wanted to be like, well, who's there? What's the topic? What's the goal? Like all this to kind of bring dinner, all those things.
Time and sat down and opened my phone.
Well, I could tell that by your response, I was like, okay, he's either like very busy, or I really don't need to know anything else besides that. So I'll be all right.
It's just a letter.
And so when it comes to being emotional, man, because our emotions are great because they're reminders of who we are and what's important to us. I think it's hard as men, man, to be vulnerable and to be able to express ourselves, and then also have courage to like step out of a comfort zone of who we want to be and where we want to go.
It becomes a habit. I mean, I think for me, it was just basically I've been fighting and defending my entire life. I didn't know there was anything else.
To just finish that, I'm sorry, man, because I have ADD. Doing that while also being genuine to like who you are. Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
No. I think the pattern too is tough. We set a pattern up first. Though. Like I'll go so far in this, and then I'm going to kind of feel the water out of it. I'll be this open or transparent, and then I'm going to hide the rest of it. Right? Like I think we come into a pattern of like these are stories I'll express to people. These are some I'll never or I won't now or whatever it is. It's like there's patterns and habits for all of us. So it's like I'll be this open, yeah. But then we start talking about that. I'm like, okay, I'll sit. Or I'll make light of the situation so we don't go deeper. Or I'll go jump in the pool or do something stupid. We don't know the guy that'll do something stupid in a room when things get too serious because they want to make it lighter, right? Because they don't want to get past that point that their habit is comfortable. I'm comfortable in this conversation right now, so I'll dive right in. You're like, yeah, but you know, your toes are up looking, man. They're long. I'd be like, damn, I don't know why I'm talking about those. Anyway, right? And I'll go right back. I'll do that. I'll go right back into the thing. Nope.
Oh, dude,
Until I can lick my toes and do it. But it's like because what I'm comfortable until I can.
Okay.
And I sound but I can't. I don't do any stretches. That's the problem. These hip flexors, whatever they're called. I was like, not it. And for David, I would say, for David, the biggest moment for me as an observer for David, it's not what he thinks, is the moment he started trusting himself to do more than what everybody in the environment around him made him believe he could do.
Right.
It was the moment where he was actually like, you know what? All these people that said I wouldn't be this, wouldn't do this, couldn't do that, and I'm just going to go do this shit, right? And it was like that when that switch hit, all of a sudden he was like, this is how we do it, and this is the company name, and this is the things we offer, and this is the programs. I'm going to do this. I'm going to write this chapter. I'm going to write this book. I'm going to put this event on, and it was like, shit, all right. For 2 years, you kept telling me people, and now all of a sudden you're like, rock it, right? And it was that moment where he was like, I'll bet on me and not what everybody else said about me.
That's a big one.
You could say he became unleashed.
Unleashed.
Yeah, Nathan likes to remind me of that.
And one of the things that I love about you, and this is a God honest compliment, is you don't know any better. No, and that's good.
Yeah.
The naivete, I guess, per se, and the zeal you have, it's contagious. I tend to sometimes overthink and overanalyze things, and I'm like, oh, step in with that faith that you do into things and just drive through.
Once I was able to trust these guys, I was able to open up. It took me a while to trust them because I've been burned so many times.
That's covered.
Right. You know, and here's one thing about trusting. Michael knows this because obviously that's my number one value. If you don't have that, we have.
Mhm.
But sometimes you got to choose to trust.
Right, I've been
learned that you can. You have to earn it ultimately to be in that inner circle. To be regardless of that, there's layers of that. But I've always that wall's always been so far apart. You and I, because of this, have to choose to step in and be vulnerable and risk getting burnt again.
Yeah.
Because the opposite of that is being cynical, and I don't want to.
I haven't been cynical.
Facts.
You saw that video? That was good. Yes.
Even though he said unleash, I use the new term, the time is now. Because I waited for too long throughout my life, especially within the first year with this book, because he put up with me for a year until I joined up with you. And he was very patient with me. Once I finally came to the first men's retreat, after that, I got hurt, almost died from all that crap.
David, to give you some credit, you've had some whammies.
Yeah,
Most people will be in a fetal position with one of those.
Right.
And to see you come through from all those that you've had, it's incredibly inspiring.
Thank you. No, and that's what I appreciate that. That's where I was going, because if it wasn't for the Unleashed community and the family like Michael, who I mainly communicate with, and I know the back and behind, even though he hates it when I say this, but with what I went through the last 16 months, if it wasn't for the blue and green, I don't honestly know where I would be after the brain injury, after the cancer, after the shoulder. I'm going to be perfectly frank and honest about that. But once I was able to realize the resiliency that came from that first men's retreat, once I was able to rediscover that, that's when I knew I could get through anything, and I wasn't alone with the family and the community.
You weren't alone. That's a great thing.
So,
Can we all stop for a minute and think that he said when I saw his back end?
Yeah, I thought about that.
did I think back on that?
I missed that.
I don't know. I did the back end. I saw Bobby's back end, but he fell in my lap.
It was like me, Alex, and Howard. I was like, oh. I'm like, say I know, but he said my back end.
And even went back to eat like back end.
Yeah.
Oh, did you back ended me?
No, you wish. There we go.
So I tried right there. It's my
You take that photo.
I didn't take a shoot it.
Oh, okay, we took the photo, but we didn't make you have the camera.
Aside.
Brought new terms of gun shot.
You know, I realized the last two men's retreats, David has been in the middle of an altercation in the water.
And then Bobby falling on me.
Yeah, so far you've had the greatest luck.
Yeah, that's how we did.
Yeah. So,
Anyway, Alex, you want to say something?
You got you.
I was gonna say something.
some of the things recently that we've been doing online, social media wise, between Bren, Faber, I'd love to kind of get your guys' ideas and thoughts out there, just that social media and igniting a following and passion that, seeing an uptick in that algorithm data. What have you guys been doing? Trying to help improve to reach out to others, kind of like doing this podcast.
What was the question?
To Brent and Faber.
You go ahead, Brent. You can talk for a fucking hour.
Yeah, right. So changing up some of the algorithms and the way that we've conducted business and social media, what are some of the advantages things that you've seen over the last month or two that we can kind of talk about? Audience try to track and bring more people to.
Okay. Well, we've tried a lot of crazy things recently. One of the most crazy things is Michael's like, he called me, he's like, Brent, we need to do 40 posts a day. And I was like,
Hold on, say that again.
40.
Holy jeez.
40 posts a day. And I kind of tried to be positive about it. Like when he told me, I was like, yeah, cool, great idea. And then my next question was like, who's going to do the 40 posts? And then he's like, you. I was like, oh.
Good strategy, Tom. Let's see if it pays off.
So we actually did build the strategy for 40 days, and we started doing it, and it's amazing. It was a true statement that all the posts created, and I don't know if you want to use a buzzword. People say reset the algorithm, or it definitely brought people to us.
Facts.
We definitely shot up with our reach, and we shot up all that happened with the more that we posted, the better we brought people to us. I think one of the things we did also learn from that too is maybe not necessarily brought the right people to us. Not that the people were bad that came, but we want to get to people that that are our people that want to come to our events, that need our help, that need to be a part of our community. So we've shifted some of that. And we find this too. One of the things we find is that we have the UnleashU page, but then we also have our personal pages. And a lot of times I think in our space and what we do, that a lot of times people connect to us personally more than they do to our UnleashU page. So, I mean, we've had some great things with Margaret. We had a viral video for TikTok that we put onto all our other social media that helped our. Yeah, she's on TikTok. She's on the TikTok.
So the 40 posts, does it matter? Did it matter what they were? Did you have a game plan of like?
Yeah, so I actually have a spreadsheet of everything that what all 40 posts were.
Nice. And do you spend time doing that all at one time and then set it on a schedule, or do you?
No, I wasn't doing that.
Okay.
I ain't got to that point before we shifted from it.
Got you.
But yeah, we were just doing the 40 posts a day. So yes, I will say after we did it for a couple weeks. So after the first week or so, I did get to a point where we were getting up to the 40 posts, and I was.
Did you rinse and repeat, or is there like brand new artwork every single one of those 40?
Pretty much brand new.
I was doing brand new every post. Wow. Which is
a lot of work.
It's pretty silly. I wasn't using ChatGPT either.
What? I was saying that I wasn't even thinking about text. I was thinking about Photoshop.
Yeah. But yeah, so like I would do, so like it was like I had the 40s. I did 4 quotes. So I had a general slide that I just did, and then I would insert our pictures, and it would be four things about what our core values are. What are the things? Like it would be 4 things about our events that are coming up, and it was all these different things. It would be four memes. So it was 4 of every different type.
Now, did you cross share every single one of them? So like every single media? Okay.
No.
Everyone know.
No, if we pull back from Instagram and
Facebook.
pull back from LinkedIn, and it was just mainly Facebook was the 40.
We doubled down on Facebook because that's always 90% of our clientele comes from Facebook.
Okay.
Yeah, I think a lot of people want to say that their people don't come from Facebook, but I think that is where most of our clients come from in our space. They're on Facebook and they're looking for help. Usually we ask for where do I go? What's a good place to go eat? Or we're asking for things right on Facebook, and that's where we're trusting people to give us quality answers. So if we're putting quality content out, if we're making ourselves visible, so we do. So I mean, a lot of things that we do, you see Michael do this. If you follow Michael, you see him do it all the time. Right? You can just scroll through his Facebook page right now after this. Go scroll through it, and it's all lead generation, questions, and it's questions to provoke people, to get them to talk about. And it's usually geared towards what our values are geared towards. Not just trying to get people worked up, but it's about getting people to talk about one of the things.
So red, bro.
I was laughing.
It is about getting them worked up too. That's a little.
Yeah,
We have a
yeah,
lot of lead gen experts.
yeah. So,
So,
you know, you can start talking. I can stop.
Yeah, you've been quiet for.
yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Keep going.
I mean,
We're not wearing dresses today.
I would not have worn a dress either.
lies.
I would let go and you that.
You got to do a Top Gun version of us playing beach volleyball in our dresses.
That's a great idea.
That's not happening.
Go in the house, also Spencer Jones in the house.
Like,
Oh,
that's like baby.
I just got to text.
But it's about creating.
There. He wasn't there that retreat. I don't think I've actually got to meet.
No.
Spencer, can't wait to meet you, bro.
Yeah, Spencer Jones. No, he will be great. He's dope.
Spencer.
You're right?
No, I didn't know. November 3rd through 5th. Oh, yeah.
Keep using that.
Who shot you? Dude, I think also what was hilarious during that time was everybody was like, hey, what agency's doing your social media? I was like, we have our own agency, so we don't use a different one. And then they're like, oh, is it a computerized program? What program do you use? So like, you know, it's like the Mike Faber and Brent Shock. He was doing it for UnleashU Now page. I was doing it for Mike Faber. So we were going back and forth with him for UnleashU Now page. And that's where we figured out was like the algorithm favors profiles over pages right now. So then we were like, all right, let's do our page still, but to a lesser degree, and focus on our own profiles.
And when you say that, you guys were literally sharing like the same thing on each other's.
No. We had to do complete different.
I mean, I don't know if you want to really go into this too, but this is also the time where we're selling the Nashville event and stuff like that.
Right,
too.
that's certainly the lead up to it.
Yeah, in which selling the Nashville event was
Super easy.
I think a key thing to add to
Yeah,
that,
it's
it's
easier for
incredible feat and amazing because you amped it up and not just 10x it, but 100x it. You don't have to do 40 posts a day to
No.
get results.
No,
But no, there's people that might interpret that. Might interpret that as-
but you can.
You can if you're able
But
to.
you haven't stopped it.
No. If you're able to do it and able to accomplish it and able to keep it, it's better to stick it out instead of doing a lot and then nothing.
And I
Bring it to a manageable pace.
yeah, and I think too a good thing is that you got to mix it up.
Mm.
So I mean, doing the 40 post, it was we might look at it now saying, man, that was kind of stupid, but it wasn't kind of stupid. It was really good actually because we learned so much from it.
Yeah.
And so we instead of just having a constant strategy, it's like okay, maybe you do that for 6 months and it's like all right, let's flip up the strategy for a while. Right, the algorithm's always changing. It's always looking. So we have to mix it up sometimes and make sure that.
It's almost impossible. It's just changing it up as the.
Yeah, so like, hey, let's just do something crazy for this week, or let's try this, or you go to Instagram or whatever. If you do a reel every day on Instagram, your reach is going to automatically go up. If you you hear this too, right? If you go live every day on your Facebook account, your reach is going to go up. You're going to have people from all over the place, and you might not do that every day for 6 months, but you might do it every day for 30 days. And it's going to change your reach. You're going to bring in new people. It's like you would do a sale at your business if you were selling, a storefront or something. You do something special for a period of time, and then you back away from it.
I would love to get your opinion on, and everybody else's too, anybody that wants to chime in on the difference between having a personal page and a business page and the pros and cons to that. Yeah, I would love your guys' feedback. I say I'm a lot. Thanks.
You want my real opinion on it?
Yeah. Don't lie to me, man.
I mean, I think like we were just talking about Alex Rosie, or however you say his last name.
You're right.
For him to have a business page, he has a huge following. If you're going to have a business page, you're going to have a huge following, then you're good if that's how you start out. But if you already have a huge following on your personal page and you just start a business, I would say it's better to have you go off your personal page.
Mhm.
So some of the people that I work with or reach out and ask me questions, I'm like, hey, just focus on your page for right now. And it's not going to be until you get McDonald's or somebody that's a big corporation. They're going to have a great business page because everybody knows their business. not everybody knows UnleashU. Right? Not yet.
Good say.
Not everybody knows, and you're just trying to start a small business, and not everybody knows your business, and they're not gonna, but they might know who you are. You're gonna get better connections personally than you are off your page.
I'm going to go 100% right at the end. I'm going to go twofold, a little bit back and forth. I think you should have a business page and a profile.
Yeah, well, I agree. With you. I don't think you should not have a business page.
Just
And
because,
leverage them and how you
yeah,
use them.
and some people are going to search. You want to have something present when people search you. It's the modern day. It's the first thing we do. Did you hear about this? No. Let me Google it, right? And if nothing comes up, then, or if just like random weird things pop up, you're going to be like, this isn't real. This is a scam. Don't do it, right? So you want to be present in your own search.
Up to date information.
Right. So now I would use a business page and be like, we're doing this. This is happening, right? Like I wouldn't be like, I'm not going to beat the drum as much as my own person because we know human behavior says I'd rather buy from a person than a logo. 100%. That's human behavior. People trust people more than they trust logos, companies, corporates, businesses, right? So that's the majority of people. So we know we want to have our presence as ambassadors to the brand, but we also want the brand to be visible, searchable, and understandable to the point that someone doesn't need to talk to me to understand UnleashU now. One of the biggest things we had a problem with was for years, and I was awful for this, Mark, Brent, and them would hate me, right? And Ev, because they would be like, tell me about UnleashU now. I'm like, it's cool. And they'd be like, wow, way to go, bro. Way to sell it. And because I hated, it was like, I didn't want to see my little dragon on there. Feel about it. So I was like, it's cool, it's community, badasses like doing things like change the world, whatever. They were like, oh, all right, yeah, cool. And they were like, dude, you got to be willing to step up and say, this is what we are, this is who we are, this is what we do, this is how we do it, and stand in that for it to be seen as it is and it's meant to be. Because the biggest thing is you want to make it where, this is what I'll say with social media in general. You want to make it where people have the least amount of questions to ask you, because every question is a friction point. And the less friction points, the more likely someone is to go with you in the journey. Right? The more friction I have in this journey with you, the less likely I am to take the steps with you. So you want to have it where they can be like, I can feel good about this. Feel good about this. Oh, I know this. I see what they're doing. I understand what they're doing. I know the point of it. I know when I receive what I do it. Right? Like when we can answer all those questions without ever having a conversation with me, and then have the conversation with me, it's so smooth. It's what he was talking about Nashville. The reason why Nashville was such a smooth transition of sales points was that we handled the objections before they were objections. So they were obstacles, and we handled them. So when they talked to us, there was no objection. They got it, right? Like, we knew the price, we knew what you got for it, we knew the offer, like we knew like when it was, where it was. And the hilarious was there was details that people think are extremely important doing something, and people were spending thousands of dollars with us before we had a date. We didn't have a date. At one point, we didn't have a month. We just said spring of 2024. And people were buying the tickets because the offer was good enough. We handled enough of the objections to overcome the I don't have the exact date objection. And I think that is our responsibility as a business or a brand, is to make it where people can see before even talking to us so many of the answers they don't have questions about.
In any business, having a balanced digital footprint is the best practice. You can favor a platform. It depends on the industry and the business, but having a nice balance is important, because people will do their due diligence without wanting to engage when they're seeking your services. Now, outside the space, in other companies, if it's a trades or anything else, that's very important. People are going to see the credibility of the brand or the business by looking around and seeing how they're behaving, what they're doing, and everything else. So having that balance. And you address objections in those places, then you minimize that friction for sure.
100%. Right.
I think another good thing to bring up too is that sometimes it's not necessarily what you post. I think that social media is a great way to connect with people. It's about responding. Sometimes we just post something and we just leave it out there, but we don't do anything. But some of the things that help the algorithm move is that as soon as you post, as soon as people respond, then you respond right back to them. A lot of people comment and like, oh, I'll never get to talk to Michael. But then they say something that Michael answers back. They're like, oh, Michael, talk to me. Yeah, and it's actually him, right? And it's that doesn't happen, and so that's something that we forget sometimes. We just post something, and like, well, nobody's responding to my post, or I only get 2 or 3 or 4. But what helps the algorithm move is, that you're responding to people, and when you respond to people, then they're gonna come back and they're gonna always visit your page. I want to see what Michael has to say. I want to say something to him, or and that's been hard to do until recently on Facebook with the business pages. Now the business page, you make a business page. Now you can actually respond to people as a business if they're following you. So there's a lot of limitations there sometimes, but being able to actually respond to people, give them the answers that they're looking for, I think that takes your social media to another level. And I think that talks to what we've been talking about for the whole 2 hours we've been talking, is our community. So when people see, we got the blue and green hearts. Right. If you go, I try to use the blue and green hearts all the time. If you go look at people's posts, you'll see me down there somewhere, and I got a blue and green heart.
And you hit something there without realizing it. Is awareness of the algorithm is important because you have to play by the rules. You can't trick a $2 billion company.
Correct.
But if you know the rules and you exploit them to the edge. However, connection before algorithm, and you guys connect first, and I love that about you, because if there's no connection, then the engagement was the wrong people, and then we're attracting the wrong people. You guys attract the right people because you connect first.
All right. I think something too that I think gets overblown is the algorithm talk.
Yeah.
Right. Unless you're trying to go like viral, which if you are create a lot of short form video content, put it out there. We did, God, I want to say over 100 videos or hundreds of videos. And then the video that went viral was me and Ev wearing a dress, right? Like it had nothing to do with the normal stuff we talked about.
That's a strategy. It's a flawed strategy.
Right.
I don't think that it was just because it was just a video.
No, I understand. But I agree with you. There was a story behind
you
it.
supported and you stood behind women, and
100%. I agree with you.
is huge.
Now, I also goes that if you're in it for a business, then or a movement or a direct like a direct target. You have a target. If you want to be like an influencer, then you want to learn the algorithm and play it as well as possible to go viral as many times as possible, to build the followers, to then say I'm an influencer, and then whatever you're doing that for, if it's to get money for endorsements or to advertise people's products and your shit, whatever that is. But if you're an influencer, that's how you're going to make money from being an influencer, right? If that's your target, cool, go do that. Good luck. All right, there's going to be some luck involved and also a lot of work on your end to be able to go and then stay there. I think one of the biggest things that we have to talk about when we're in the business or movement space is understanding the person that's going to be involved in this, like it, buy it, support it, push it, right? And know where they are, get to them, talk to them, and let them see your thing. Because I don't care if you have 100 likes or 10 likes. If you guys have 10 buyers of the 100 or 10, you're equal in business. You created 10 buyers,
Correct.
Right? Like I think we get caught up sometimes in going viral. Right? Yeah, the numbers. I had 170 likes. Yeah, but you can't sell 197 reports.
I have a client. I mean, it's a construction company, $20 million construction company. Their engagement on their Facebook page that has over 10,000 followers is minimal. However, that's not what we're trying to get. We have calls to action, to landing pages that convert these people into buyers.
Right.
So if you're measuring engagement for this client, we're failing.
Right.
But when there's an uptick in sales and in leads that are quality leads, that's a win.
Right.
So I like what you say like that, because I totally agree with you. Understanding the algorithm is important because it changes and you can use it to get organic reach faster, and that's really, very important. But there's a lot of people that get caught up in that emotion of the engagement, which is cool, but let's look at what we're trying to do.
Right.
If you have a business, you're trying to sell a ware or sell a product or a service, that's the goal.
And ego is very much involved in numbers, overall numbers, and then impact is found separately. And when you care about impact, you're like, I don't give a damn if 7 people saw my video, if the one that needed to saw it, we made the impact we wanted to keep moving. Right. And it's like I also think it's like the idea of that one post that hit is crazy to me. I think it's a because of all these different posts, this post hit, right? They're like, oh, look at the post that made the most sales. And I'm like, you're missing it. It was the sequence of posting that led to that person going, okay, I'll purchase. It wasn't one post. I was like, oh, fine. Like, how many people see one thing and like, bet I'll buy it, right? Like, no, very few.
Second, I have one more thing, one more layer to this. The platforms are built differently. So understanding how people behave in that platform, then you can create content to serve that through that. So I'm the same hobby that I'm in Instagram, that I'm in Facebook, that I'm in TikTok. I behave differently in each one of those. So so it's built. Yeah, TikTok is based on if I look at my TikTok, there's UFO stuff, bingo stuff, because that's what I'm looking for. I'm not engaging. So if I'm a content creator or creating something for my business, and I know my audience is there, I serve that content based on the behavior, regardless of the algorithm, because then we understand who it is. Obviously, we all know that algorithms are changing, so Instagram hashtags are pretty much dead. So stop using freaking hashtags and start using other things. But awareness is good.
Thanks for saying that, because I didn't know that. Because I literally just started hashtagging, man. Like,
Don't waste
It's not going to get anything. Now you can search.
anything.
okay.
Hashtags are good for
People under 5,
not good for necessarily using.
Interesting.
So hashtags aren't going to necessarily get you seen by masses. What I like hashtags isn't for us to use; it's for us to search to find our people. Because I know what hashtags are.
And hashtags on Facebook are used differently. They were created a certain way. They just used differently when they were created.
Remember 2 years ago they tried to get people to buy hashtags.
Yeah.
That was so just well, we got to give a shout out to Victoria Smith. She got married this past week or 2 weeks.
Oh, yeah, Vicky.
She got green hearts. All you got blue and green hearts. Spencer dropped them. So appreciate Marvin dropped them. Also Tony, my boy Tony Deaton, back in the sports talk days.
Nice.
He said, Coach, my favorite's the best. Also, your Carolina Panthers going to suck. Everybody. Thank you. Appreciate you, buddy. Love you too, man. Thanks for stopping in, bro. He's been around since back in sports talk day, back to like me and Alex doing the riot, a bunch of stuff after. So he's been a supporter for a long time.
Cool story.
I'm gonna get
Can I
that.
wrap something back up?
Yeah, wrap it all up.
We started talking about all this, which was super cool, about like the men and feeling like they could be vulnerable, not fake at the men's retreat. And we started talking about that when Brent started talking about what's going on with Unleash You Now. And so I was just kind of like, I'm not a man, so I'm going to get out of this conversation. But to wrap back into, things that are going on, that's super exciting for the men that have that going on. And we have the men's retreat coming up in November. The weekend after that, we have our women's retreat, which we have one bed left. We unfortunately had someone that had to cancel. So the bed is now available. So if you're interested in that. But even more exciting is we've started an online community for women, and that drops on September 1st. And it is less than $1 a day. We wanted to make it affordable for people, so you can pay monthly, you can pay for the year. And basically what's going to happen is weekly we have trainings, we're going to have connection calls, accountability people. And this group is solely for women who want to be supported in aspects of their life. It's not just, I know Unleash You Now is a lot of business based, and a lot of the people in our community are entrepreneurs, but this is going to be less business focused and more personalized to the person.
Nice.
And so that's kind of birthed from me and Dr. Vinnie Faber and Jesse Marsh, who have all struggled in some way with mental health and anxiety and depression, and we're all leaders in our lives. And every woman in some aspect of their life is leading through their life, whether they're the stay-at-home mom leading their home, or they're the college student, or the person going back to school, or the single mom, or the entrepreneur, badass business owner, whatever that is. We're going to work through that together. So I just wanted to update everyone on that.
Yeah.
And so
That's amazing.
yeah, this is going to be a really super vulnerable community of women who kind of want to get out of that like victimhood and step into taking control of things in their life. And I've definitely been a lot more excited about this. I'm somebody that's a lot in the background and not really wanting to talk or do anything like that. But yeah, mental health can take a toll on you, and it can, if you let it consume your life. And so when you climb out of that, for a lot of people, their goal is to help people not feel the same way. So that's kind of my goal, and what the women, at least, we're shifting towards in the women community for Unleash now.
If I can add to,
Yeah.
I just want to say that I'm proud of you, proud of Vinny and Jesse putting this together. And I think as a whole, UnleashU, we talked about this, but when I talk to people about UnleashU, like what makes UnleashU different, and I think across the board, it's about how we treat people, how we accept people in. And I love that we're really pushing the women part of this, because sometimes the women are left out.
Yeah.
Women are taken advantage of in business. Women are taken advantage of in their mental health. And I love that in our space that we're standing up, that we're believing in women, that we're saying, hey, you're allowed to be here. You're allowed to be at the table with us. You're allowed to have a voice.
Right.
And so many different aspects of life, women lose their voice.
Right.
And I'm thankful and appreciative to UnleashU that we allow that we're empowering women. That is our goal. And it's amazing to see the community that's come in. It's amazing to see the powerhouse women that are already involved. Like Allegra's on here. She's talking. She's going on.
Yes.
There's such a great community of women, and if you're listening, if you're new and you come across this, and we've heard this from different people, is that we have some real and genuine women. Through your leadership, through Vinny's leadership, through Jesse coming in. These are women that when we listen to Vinny, when we listen to Dr. Vinny talk, like every time, I don't care who you are, how big of a person you are, you cry. Vinny's been through so many things, and she has such a great story. You have such a great story. I remember the very first time you tried just to talk in front of us, you were scared to death.
Remember that in 2019?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I actually I messaged Kevin Layler. I'm not sure if everyone's familiar with him. He was one of the speakers in 2019, and we were doing like a workshop. We had our big conference at Del Tech at in front of the stage, and then we did a workshop in a side room, and it was like a panel of speakers, and everyone was kind of crammed in this little room. And he knew that speaking in front of even more than like 3 people was like one of my greatest fears. And so he called me up to the front, and I absolutely, Brent was there. I sobbed. I cried my eyes out. It was the worst experience of my life.
I've seen it.
Yeah, it was the worst ever. Like, I was like, could not even get a word out because they asked me why mental health is important to me. And I was like, for someone who struggles with speaking, that's the worst question to ask them. You should be like, what's your favorite food?
Yeah.
Like something that's so easy instead of like the most vulnerable and emotional thing for me. And so I messaged him recently, and I was like, it was like a picture of me speaking at one of our women's retreats, and I was like, just so you know, like, and he was cracking up, and he felt really bad at the time, but now he's like, see, I challenged you to be better. And I didn't know at the time that and still I battle a lot with speaking in front of people. It's terrifying. Frankly, even for the people that are the best at it, it's absolutely terrifying. And you're judged for everything that you do. And for someone that is so sensitive, and I'm like, I pick up on everyone's energies and I feed off of that. Yeah, it's super hard for me, at least, to do that. And so my thing is, and Michael really inspired me, was that like, the more that I don't do it and the more that I don't speak up about what I'm passionate about, the more people are going to struggle that I'm supposed to impact.
Right.
And those people are going to keep
good.
struggling until I can reach them. And I have a purpose, and I have a purpose in people's lives, and I still do, and I haven't even met them yet. And so the more I hold back from what I'm supposed to be doing, it holds them back. And so for me, that was huge because it's like, oh my God, I'm holding other people back from not, talking about what's passionate and helping people. So.
And seeing your passion is amazing. And I know some of the guys here. I know Javi can come in with me on this. As a father of a daughter, I want to see more of this. I want to see women be empowered to be who they're supposed to be and to go and start businesses and to go out and have a voice.
Right.
Yeah.
So I'm so thankful for
Thank
Empower
you.
Her. I'm so thankful for Nashville, where we're going to have a women's breakout, and we're going to talk about those things.
Yeah.
It's great that we have this. I don't know which way to look.
Mike's got the camera.
Oh,
So you don't know. It's a bunch of
Totally forgot what I was saying.
It's okay. We're having like a women's hour and everything like that. And I think the biggest thing with this community is like, I think a lot of women feel like because this space is so hard and it's so masculine that women have to step up and act like they have it all together to be like this leader and this like powerful person. Like this year was one of the hardest years that I've ever had in my life. And that's why I'm doing this. And I'm not shy to say that. Like, this is one of the hardest years I've ever had in my entire life. I have gone through so many obstacles this year. And I think that being open about that is why we're drawing more women and creating this bigger community, because I'm open about that.
Yes.
I'm not pretending like I have everything all together, because I don't.
And again, this just goes back to the adage that this is what makes UnleashU different.
Right.
Why is UnleashU different? What's different about your community? The last community I was in hurt me, took advantage of me, just took my money, didn't really empower me. What sets us apart? Our vulnerability,
Right.
our willingness to meet you where you are. It's okay to not be okay,
Right.
but how can we get behind you? How can we empower you? How can we lift you up and see you be successful and do amazing things in life? That's what we want to do. We want to unleash the best version
Right.
of you. That's who we are.
Right.
So I love it. And then add the red for the empower.
That's what we did a twist on the logo for the women. And so it's UnleashU now, but it's the women kind of logo. But yeah, if anybody's interested, I know that was really long-winded for us to say.
Why do we call them spots in the men's or the embeds in?
They're sold out. They're sold out.
We have one spot left, one bed.
One bed left. I have one bed left
Just
for the women's
terminology.
retreat. Well, the men, I think you guys had single rooms left. The women's retreat, we just have one bunk bedroom.
No, so I tried to make a joke and we really bombed. So.
I thought you were being literal, so I'm like, oh, what it is.
I took a stab at comedy and I missed.
Shout out to Colin. Colin, thank you so much. We miss you, but he'll be so.
We're trying to keep a straight face because we see Alex and Fabber doing the moonwalk behind the camera.
Yeah.
I think that means it's time to wrap it up.
He's doing the passionate speech, and then he's doing his thing.
I break up my solid gold dance card.
At least you didn't have your bad tooth.
It's like,
Colin, what's up, brother? I was sitting next to you.
So, I think that we should wrap it up kind of the same way we used to. The last time, we're back, and so we took a while off from the podcast, and so the way we used to wrap it up was everyone would go around, and we'll start with Brent, and say,
Start with Alex.
I've been preparing back there.
okay, Alex, we'll start with you, and we'll say, like, whatever your last piece is, it doesn't matter what the topic is, just like your last sentence or your last, like, zinger, whatever the hell you want to call it, just whatever last thing.
What am I saying?
Well, ultimately, as I've been on a mental health journey recently, the best you is the best for everyone else around you. If you are lacking, you're lacking for everyone else. Get your mind right, get yourself right. Talk to people, build a community, find a community, do whatever it takes to be okay. Because when you're not okay, the people around you are not. Get your shit right.
You didn't have to necessarily end it like that, but
I love you. Hard truth, hard reality. Howdy, howdy.
Howdy. Habanero.
Lean on others, use to trust, show up.
I used to end it the same way, and I will still, is that you're not alone. And a big thing with Unleash You now in the community here is you don't have to spend a dime, but we will still be here for you.
Yeah.
And most of our community, I can say that very seriously, will be there for you no matter what you do and how much money you spend or no money at all, is that you're not alone and you can reach out. What's your last
Everybody's gonna break in this.
What's your final words, Jesus?
Oh,
What do I look, man? That one?
Here you go.
You are not alone. I was going to say that also, Margaret. That was wonderful.
Thank you.
So you are alive right now. You're looking at an electronic screen of some sort, whether an iPad or a phone, or a TV or a computer. You should wake up on purpose. And if you feel bad about something that you're doing or something that somebody else is doing, you can only control yourself. You can't control anybody else. So you can control your perspective. You can control your energy and your effort.
What you doing, man?
And
Come on.
maybe the mistakes that you thought were mistakes weren't mistakes at all. They were supposed to build you and make you into exactly who you are right now. So
Yeah.
be grateful, be thankful, count your blessings.
Yes.
Tell every single person that you love them when you see them, when you have the opportunity. Say things that you mean. Don't say something that you're going to regret because you're angry or you're upset. Be aware of yourself and your surroundings, and trust the process. Trust yourself. It's going to be all right, and do it. Love you always. That's it.
MF. Oh, you want to
Have that first one last. Which camera am I looking at? What's up, fam? Man, I just want to say I'm gonna start with what Cullen said. Cullen's on here. I deleted it. Cullen said, "Stop running," and I'll echo that. Stop running. Be present. Be present where you are and what you have going on in your life. Don't be ashamed of where you are. Own it.
Yes.
And if you need help, why haven't you called yet? We're here for you.
Yes.
We love you. Let's go get it.
Come on.
Let's not fucking get it. Let's go get it.
And I gotta follow this up.
What the hell was that?
One more time.
My name's Mickey Mouse. Let's go get it.
Are we done?
David.
The David.
Come on, baby. Tried to cut me right out.
I know.
He's the last one.
Cut you real deep.
The time is now.
Oh, boy.
Woo.
Don't wait for tomorrow. Act on your emotion today. Everybody's got this story that needs to be heard. Don't wait for a tragedy to define how you live your life. Take that pain, turn it into a powerful fuel source, because when you do that, you will become unbreakable and unshakable. Embrace your authenticity. Be you. Be powerful. Become unbreakable. Become unshakable. And let's get to the summit.
Boom.
To the summit. You changed the camera perfect time. Good job. Ev's killing it. Everyone give us some love. Lens, camera moment, the truth. Weird that's here. We call him a bunch of things.
No body fat.
That, right? That bond. Right? We put them right? The mirror big. Smile when we take out the mirror.
Get in the camera. Show off those muscles, you ladies.
Chill, look at that bunch. Let me see it. I got some man love. Now he showed up a little late, but you know, that's what it was. Brent shot coming through, no longer in with the microphones. David Fabber with some Denver, Colorado, and we tell her, in here, Javi from Dover came down. Margaret from Florida, who's repping the women, repping the ladies.
Ladies on here. Ladies. Come on. Fridays.
All my obscure, weird, short texts and still showing up. Playing I appreciate you.
You added so much to this. Yeah, man. You made it showing that us.
Yeah, you
I was trying to just fit the vibe of everything. So that you guys were dancing at some point.
Yeah, so we go.
You hadn't moved. Have you gotten up?
So my ass is a no.
Yeah.
If you worry about the end, I'm gonna throw at the camera like normal.
Appreciate it.
Like on the leads first ever. My started new traditions of old.
There usually is.
My thing is invest in you. Right, like actually take the time, take the effort, take your resources, and rather than always pour out, start pouring in.
Yes.
Right, so then your out is bigger and better, and your in is bigger and better. Pour in, invest in yourself. Actually look to grow. And I don't care if you have $1, you can get a Kindle book for $1. You know what I mean? Like you can find something. A library card costs like nothing, right? Like you can go do things right now wherever you are along the journey and invest in yourself to grow. Because I promise you, one of the biggest things I sit back now and I'm like, I beat myself up for at times, is because it took me so long to be like, I'm willing to go in on me. Right? Early on, I was willing to bet on everybody around me, all my boys, all my people. I'll bet on you. Yeah, let's go. You got this. But I never was like, I'll go get this.
That's one of the least selfish things you could do.
Right. It's build you, because the more you build, the better you are for everyone else around you. You care about everybody you're going to run into. So my big thing is like, and I don't care if you spend the time with us. You don't have to. That's more cool. You're cool. But invest in you. Bookstore, Kindle, newspapers, Google, the internet. We pretty much all have it at our fingertips. But be willing to spend the time on you. Right? Don't spend the time on everything else and then wonder why we're in the same place. We're not getting the result we want or not where we want. Invest in you, because that'll be the best thing you can do for you and those around you. So this is Be Unleashed, the live podcast version of the group. You'll get to catch these every Thursday.
Yep.
Right? We're back.
Yep.
Everybody's back. We're back here. Don't call it what we need. The 302 in the house, right? Until next time, you know the deal. Long live the Unleashed.
Yes.
Also, they don't know about me. Peace and happiness.
And you go to everything.
My bad.
We are.